Oh God. And oh geez, is that? Well, I might not want to take that. See, look how that works. I don't know. I'll take it though. Oh my God. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Anthony.
You were
There was a
fantastic
video
yesterday.
of
Well,
Opie
yeah. Okay.
still obsessing with Howard Stern. It's on his YouTube page,
Yeah.
and he's just bitching about Howard still. I don't understand why he still is obsessed with Howard. Can you explain to me? It's like
Yes.
not getting over an ex-girlfriend.
Very good. See, he's actually making sense here. It is kind of like that. Opie has had this fascination and obsession, really, if you think about it, with Howard Stern over the years. Howard Stern, during Opie's entire radio career, even before I got on board, when he was over at BAB and up in Rochester, all the places he was before it was the Opie and Anthony show, Howard was always the giant shadow that was cast over the radio industry. No one in the from the mid 80s until he went over to Sirius satellite radio, no one was bigger than that motherfucker. Just no one. He was the king of radio. I'm not going to say all media. He's self-proclaimed, as they say. But you weren't finding a bigger, more influential radio disc jockey, shock jock, if you will, than Howard Stern. And I think that bugged the shit out of him. Howard bashed his buddy brother Wheeze, and there was nobody that could beat Howard. So when it was Opie and Anthony, we came into New York, we got as close as anyone could. And we weren't even up against the guy in the same day part. The company made sure they weren't going to put us fighting each other. They figured they'd get one show in the mornings, Howard, and then one show in the afternoon, Opie and Anthony.
Yeah, weren't you guys supposed to go to Q104.3 before you got that big deal with NEW back in 2001?
Well, my monitors, I'm frozen right here, but what are you going to do? Well, after we were fired, Q104 wanted us to go over there. Actually, before we were fired during contract negotiations, Q104, Clear Channel Media came forward and said, hey, we want O&A to go in mornings against Howard. And because it was a different company. And then Infinity Broadcasting said, yeah, that won't happen. We'll just give them a shitload of money. They had like first right of refusal, they call it, so they could match whatever Clear Channel came up with, and they did.
Yeah.
They gave us a boatload of fucking cash. But the Howard thing, if I may continue.
Yes.
So he was always very jealous of the notoriety and whatnot, because it seemed like no matter how hard you worked and how good your shows were, you were never going to achieve the level of Howard Stern. And that was just the way it was. There was really nothing you could do about it. You could be awesomely great, and you were just going to be like, oh, that's kind of a Howard wannabe or something. They would call you, shock jock wannabe, whatever. So he still has that resentment in him where he has to, and he always, in that, which is a weird thing with Opie also, he wanted to tie himself to Howard somehow. For how much he hated him and wanted to be bigger than Howard and was jealous and resentful, he always wanted to be attached to Howard somehow. Any story that would come out where it was Howard and Opie and Anthony and oh, what is this going to be? He loved shit like that if his name was somehow attached to Howard. And now it's so irrelevant. Like, no one gives a shit about Howard Stern anymore. He's got subscribers over at Sirius. I think a lot of them subscribed for Howard early on, and then just, they like the 80s on 8. So they didn't, unsubscribe. But I don't think anyone that was a Howard fan for many years is actually listening to Howard Stern anymore. No one knows when he's on, first of all. He's constantly on these really expanded vacations, and he's turned into kind of a parody of himself and a hypocrite. He's got this liberal mentality now, that just Hollywood thing. He's trying to fit in with the crowd that he used to goof on, and everyone loved that. So I don't know. I think it's two pretty irrelevant people, and one of them still completely obsessed with the other. So yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Gave you way
Thanks
too
very
much time. All right, my friend.
Bye.
Thank you, Santa. There he goes.